See, you say things to yourself that are far worse than anything I would say or anyone else would say. I think when people come into this room, they come in, every one of them is a bully. Bullying that little girl, that little boy on the inside. Yeah. There's three types of people that walk into the training room, I think. This is sort of a Marianism. I see them coming in and they walk in, a walking, breathing dead. No life, no energy. I'm here, I got a heartbeat. I'm alive, but I don't have a life. They're walking, breathing dead. Say, walking, breathing dead.
Walking, breathing.
How many of you know what that feels like? Say, oh yeah. Same job, same school, same friends. Same. And then there's those other type of people that come in here and they're running out of breath. Running out of breath. Say that with me. Running out of breath. Hey, how are you doing today? Can I come over to your house? You want to come over to my house? Maybe we can go shopping. Well, we don't want to go shopping. You want to see how Mary is? Have you know Mary? Let's go see Mary because I think Mary's going. She might need some help. I don't know. Let's make biscuits. You want biscuits? I like biscuits. You like cheese and biscuits? We can make them tonight. Then we can make them tomorrow, and then we can go deliver them to everybody in our community. Running out of breath like a hamster. You know what I'm talking about? Say, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Running out of breath. Can't slow down. I got to go here. What are you doing? Are you going to slow down this evening, honey? Well, I got to go check on the cattle and fix that fence and sand the rust off the bottom of my tennis shoes. Just running out of breath. Got to go. And then there are other people, and they just lie down and quit. They're stuck in their addiction. They're not walking, breathing dead. They can't even function. They come in and they sit, and their mind is numb because all they can think about is the next fix, the next drug, and they're lying down and quit. The walking, breathing dead, the running out of breath, and the lying down and quit. So what causes that behavior is our tapes. See? I'm walking, breathing dead because I'll never make it. I'm not good enough. I'm too old. I'm too strung out. I'm too fat. I'm too stupid. I'm whatever. Running out of breath. I don't want to slow down because if I do, then I'm going to have to listen and feel. And then my addiction is Medicaid. So I just lie down and quit. So how many of you would like to know where these tapes come from? Say, oh yeah. Would that be interesting? So we call this the human condition. Okay? And you're going to be able to take a picture of these things and everything. This is called the human condition. So here's what happens. Someone says something or does something, and it causes a wound on our heart. And we feel the feeling. We tell ourselves a story, and then we feel the feeling, and then we live it out in our life. There's a good book I read one time, and it said this: as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So what I think about affects the way I feel, and the way I feel affects the way I live. That's exactly right, Misty. So what happens is, something happens, an event. When I was a little boy, lived in Louisiana, we were very poor. Mom and Dad worked. He didn't believe in women working. We go to a grocery store, and we drove this thing called a station wagon. It was like a minivan cut in half, and the back seat faced in the rear window. Packed all the kids in there, and we didn't have cell phones back then. And we go to the grocery store, Winn-Dixie, and we get the groceries, and y'all probably don't know like what powdered milk or powdered eggs or, hominy or things like that. It's like where you can't even afford real eggs, right? So when I say poor, I mean we was poor, and but Mom and Dad did the best they could. So Mom gets the groceries. I noticed under the buggy there's a box of Cracker Jacks. I don't know if y'all have Cracker Jacks like popcorn. It's got the prizes in it. It's caramel. And somebody had left it under the buggy. And so I told Mom, I said, Mom, I'll take the buggy back. She goes, okay, Junior. They call me Junior. And you think I had tapes over that name? My name's Marion Boggs. I don't have a middle name. My last name, and I'm a junior. You know what junior means? Second rate. Think that was fun? Hey, Junior. Anyhow, so she said, okay, Junior. So I go back, I take the buggy and I take the Cracker Jacks and I put them in my pocket. And I was so nervous, and I walked outside and I was looking for Mom. And she had Mary Jr., Becky, John, David, she had all these kids. She forgot me. She got in the station wagon and left me. And I'm on the side of the thing, and I'm thinking, because we were raised real religious, right? We were really, really religious. And I thought, God's punishing me. You know, he either came back and the church was raptured and I got left behind, or he's just punishing me because I stole these Cracker Jacks. About the time a guy comes and says, son, I said, yes, sir. He's the manager. He said, your mom forgot you. I said, yes, sir. He put me in the office. He said, we'll wait for her to come back. It took forever for Mom to come back, and I'm in that office and I had the Cracker Jacks, and I thought right then and there, man, I'm gonna burn in hell forever and ever and ever, because I stole the Cracker Jacks, because I'm a thief. I'm just a little no good thief. Mom come back finally, she goes, Junior, forgot you, hop in. What do you think my tapes were? I don't. And it put a wound on my heart. Mom forgot me. A few years later, I'm in school. Dad's supposed to come pick me up, but he's working 2 jobs because he didn't believe he wasn't working. So he worked for the Air Force and military, and then he worked for a Sears Automotive Center. But he forgot me. The buses were gone, the principals were gone. It was dark at night. Finally, Dad's headlights come up the driveway. Yeah, guess what else? Put another wound on my heart, because once again, I told myself, I'm forgiven. Nobody's gonna remember me. I don't matter. So I had an event that happened, and it fixed these emotions, these scars. And so I started believing and telling myself a story. Nobody's gonna pay any attention to me, because I don't matter. I'm forgiven. And so as a result, it fixed the behavior. So these feelings came from thoughts, they produced actions. And so my fixed behavior is I was gonna make sure no one ever forgot me. So I was little bitty. As a kid, I was 4'11", you know, a freshman, a 15-year-old, weighed 92, 94 pounds. And so I knew I could be funny. So if I made people laugh, right? And Mom and Dad making good grades. So I made good grades in school. I made people laugh. And I made sure people remembered Junior. Laugh with me, laugh at me. I don't care, as long as you don't forget me. And that worked, you know, for a while, until I got older and realized the only thing that mattered to my dad was religion. That's the only thing where I was gonna get Dad's attention or Mom's attention, just, you know, religion. Be real religious, be really smart. My dad, Mom, they didn't care about sports. They didn't care about music. The only thing they cared about was the Bible. That's the only thing that mattered to them. So I tried to be the best little Bible boy I could. And I did really, really good. You'll hear more of my story on Sunday, until my life crashed in 2000 when I went through this program. And I realized I couldn't be good enough. I couldn't be smart enough. I couldn't be amazing enough. And so I thought, I'm never gonna feel the feeling of not mattering. So if I can't get your attention by being a good boy, guess what I'm gonna be? Bad boy. And at 38 years old, these tapes and these wounds in my heart from being looked over, left over, never being good enough. At 38 years old, I took my first drink, my first smoke. I started cursing. I said things like crap and darn and gee whiz and golly. I got drunk on a wine cooler. I got high on a cool cigarette. I got me an earring and a tattoo. Because I didn't want you to forget me. I didn't want to be that little boy sitting on the sidewalk saying, does anybody love me? And I had a mom and dad who loved each other. There was no sexual abuse. There was no, you know, Dad didn't drink, for sure. Mom didn't, they didn't gamble. The only thing they ever did was, you know, go to church. We could, you know, I was in a loving home. I mean, we never talked about sex, and we never, had a TV much or anything like that, but there wasn't any abuse. They didn't yell at each other, and so I had a pretty fair home. So tell me about some of the things in your life, in your childhood, that caused you scars. What are some of the things in your life, in your childhood, that caused wounds on your heart?
The physical abuse.
Physical abuse?
Emotional abuse.
Emotional abuse, screaming, yelling.
Sexual abuse.
Sexual abuse by family. And by family, by friends. Family, friends.
My babysitter.
Yeah. What else caused some of the wounds in your heart?
Alcoholism.
Alcohol.
Racism.
Racism.
My brother died.
Death of a brother. Death of a family member.
Divorce.
My mother died.
Death of a mother. And all these feelings, see these fixed emotions, these feelings, put fixed emotions, and then we begin to tell ourselves a story. We begin to believe, well, if he beat me, then I must be a bad boy. Or if they raped me, then I must have deserved it. And all these lies start coming in, and then as a result, we have these actions. We live out what we believe. We live out what we believe to try to silence the scars. Here's another. Is this making sense? Oh yeah, making sense. Here's another way to look at this. So picture this piece of paper as a big, wide, wonderful world. This is a big, wide, wonderful world. And a child that is born into a big, wide, wonderful world only has two fears. Two fears. The fear of falling. So a child is born into the big world, and everything is bright and happy, but they only have two fears. And those fears are the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Wait a minute, you're not a kid. You jumped. How many of you peed your pants? Say, oh yeah. Children, kids realize that the world is not a safe place because children fall or out of the crib or off the bed, and it causes them to put walls around them, or a door slams, or a dog barks, and it causes fear, right? And at a young age, a child realizes that the world is not a very safe place, and so they begin to build walls. So this is their life headed this way, and they begin to build walls. And by the time a child is 2 years old, statistics say they hear 40 negatives for every positive. Don't jump out of the bed. Don't run across the room. Stop. Wait. Charges. 40 negatives for every positive. And by the time, hold on just a second. You'll color it up here. So by the time a child is 2 years old, 40 seconds, and by the time a child is 6 years old, they have already learned 80% of their belief system for their entire life. That's why, like Karl Marx, Hitler, some of these, they say, you give me a child until they're 5 or 6, I'll have them for the rest of their life. Because they know it's at those young stages that a child is tender and moldable and pliable. Because they know that one day, they're going to be an adult. One day, but inside that adult, inside this 61-year-old man, there lives a 51-year-old man. And this 61-year-old man carries around everything that happened in his 50s, everything that happened in his 40s, everything that happened in his 30s, everything that happened in his 20s, everything that happened in his mid-20s, everything that happened in in this school and preschool. And to this very day, did you know that I can still feel that I don't matter, or I'm a screw up? My tapes are I'm disqualified because of some of the choices I made in life, or I'm damaged goods. And when I hit that boy on the motorcycle, I went back to the house and I had a drink, a strong drink, because I didn't want to feel what it felt like, because it took me all the way back to 2000, when I'm kneeling down in that 13-year-old boy, and I give him CPR and he dies right there. There's 200 teenagers in this camp. And I have to take his body back and tell his parents, you'll never see Ronnie again. You can't even look at his face because half his face is gone. And I realized that these wounds, these scars on our heart, you can go to all the seminars you want to, but until you really own your contract, which is what you're going to get right, the truth about who you are. You're all, when things get tough, we're always going to find ourselves running back to our tapes. See? Because our tape is, we think it's our comfort zone. It's where we feel natural. We set out to prove our strongest belief system true. So if I believe I'm a screw up, then guess what I'm going to do?
Screw up.
If I believe I'm trouble, I'm just trouble, then guess what I'm going to be?
Trouble.
And if I have a belief system that says God is out to get me, every time something negative happens, guess what I'm going to do? Screw you, God. Right? And that's why this is so important. There are two things that I think the entire 5 days hinges on. That's tapes and self-defeating games. Tapes are the things we tell ourselves. Self-defeating games are what we do because of the tapes. So let's move on. Here's a 2 years old. So 5 to 6 years old. What happens about 5 to 6 years old? School. And here again, we start putting walls up, because school, we find out the world is not a safe place. How many of you were bullied at school? Here, put your hands down. You can go ahead and color this in. These are walls up here. Okay, how many of you were the bully in school? Yeah. And so we go to school and we're made fun of because maybe, what are some of the reasons you're made fun of at school? Like, if you can remember when you were a child.
Skin color.
Your skin color, because you were too brown. Was anybody made fun of because they weren't brown enough?
No.
Yeah. Weren't brown enough. Your First Nation, you should be darker. And so Misty was made fun of because you didn't look like a.
No, I have blue eyes, so that was a big thing.
Oh my goodness. So you had blue eyes
Yeah.
and you're tan. So do you remember what it was like when you were in school, like your first day of school or anything?
It was just, no, I don't remember my first day of school.
Yeah. But it was hard when you were in school?
Yeah, it was just like hard for me to be singled out. I don't like being singled out very much, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the neat thing is you're at a great place right now because you get to be Misty, And so I want to hear a little bit about were you bullied, you said, or were you the bully?
I wasn't either. I was very loved and I was loved, but it was singling me out that made me feel a little bit bullied.
Oh.
But they weren't like mean.
Okay.
Like, they were just like laugh about it a bit.
And when they laughed, it made me feel.
Yeah.
It made me feel what? What
Yeah.
did it
It didn't make me feel good.
feel? Which means it made me feel
Yeah, it made me feel bad.
bad because I must be
Different.
different. Must be different. Yeah. Elaine's going to work with you tonight and help you understand a few things about being different. So, who can remember their first experience at grade school when you were away from school? Hope? Hold on just a second. The microphone for Hope.
I was made made by